Hello YouTube, Alpha WhiteWolf bringing you something a little new, something a little interesting. I wanted to try and do a little thing where I actually film myself putting together the Warhammer miniatures. I might do this video in 2 parts. First part just getting the miniature out of the sprue, getting it glued together, getting it primed, and getting it ready. And then the second video, the actual painting. So, if you've been following the situation on Twitter, I've already posted a tweet concerning the sprue, gave a little close-up to little Ragnar's face in here, and also the color choices that I'm going with for right now, kind of over here and outside the camera view. Color choices right now are just kind of tentative, so I may decide to take some colors out, put some in. It really all depends on what I'm feeling as I'm putting him together and as I'm looking at him and figuring out what kind of colors would really make this guy like clearly a space wolf. I have a few that are obvious, but a few that might be thrown in for extra flavor in order to really hit that space wolf feel. So before we get too far into this, the usual disclaimer. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon to stay up to date with our updates and uploads. If you have suggestions for future videos, drop them in the comments, and if you like this video, indicate so down below. I am really trying to make sure that these hobbies that are just so fun to me, I can actually bring to other people. I'm probably not as good as some of the other YouTubers putting together and painting these models, but I figure I might as well throw my name in the hat and see whether or not people like that. But before we get too far into that, a little bit of a little showing off of my own work. Going to show off my little workstation here. So this is my workstation. This is a table that I built because the desk that I was originally doing things at was just not working for me. So I just decided, you know what, I'm going to go out, I'm going to head over to a Home Depot, pick up some wood, some paint, some screws, and bang together some kind of workstation. And I'm really happy with it so far. If you'd believe it, I spent like less than $60 to actually put this thing together. $60 on the materials. The most expensive part of the whole thing was just the tools to put things together, like the saw. But yeah, this is my workstation. This is my immediate work area. And the sprue that is the subject of today's video. Let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? So, I will say that the tools that I have nowadays are much better than the ones I had when I first started putting together Warhammer models. Mostly because when I was first putting them together, I really didn't know what to expect. So the very first one that I put together was the Death Dread, not the bright and colorful yellow and red one, but that more serious one with the skull face. And for most of the times when I was taking things out of the sprue, I was actually using this X-Acto knife, and I did not realize at the time that that was like one of the worst and most inefficient ways to go about it. So eventually I picked up these little cutters, and I really like them. And if you're getting annoyed with me speaking, it's mostly because I'm just kind of looking at this sprue and figuring out where exactly am I going to go. So I think that I'll start with part of the base up here, and from there just kind of work my way through. Okay, so let's go ahead and get you out. I do want to be kind of careful with this one because even though it is basically a base of rubble, I still want it to look kind of neat and nice. I may never ever play with these models, but I at the very least want to be able to put together some Space Marines. get this last one here. Alright. Got a nifty little bit here. I can clearly see the toe of one of Ragnar's boots. Cool looking alien skull, some barbed wire, looks like some rounds. So this is going to be actually kind of fun to paint. I'm going to look forward to that. The next thing is there's a piece right here. It's pretty much an entire leg and a good portion of his pelvis with, I guess, the other part of the ground that he's on. So let's go ahead and clip you out. Take a look at how you might be going together pretty soon. So nothing concrete yet. Yeah. So I've actually been describing this to other people, and one thing that I like to describe it as, it's almost like putting together a puzzle. Only this puzzle is something you actually have to take out. Taking the puzzle out of the box is like only half the fun, and then putting it together is the other half. The next piece is right here, his other leg. I'll include some pictures of the close-ups of the pieces and then see whether or not I can get a little bit of a better picture while I'm actually putting Ragnar together. So nothing concrete yet, but I am kind of getting an idea of how the pieces are going to be assembled. Kind of separating them out in groups now. Okay. I think the next thing should be his greaves. Like, he has his greaves right here. So let's go ahead and cut those out. Now, I am not exactly looking forward to the greaves because they do have a bit of really fine detail work. Like, one of these things has a little image of a sword looking thing. Either a sword or a really aggressive looking tree. And I'm actually kind of interested in seeing how that's going to go together. Yeah, just taking a quick look. Definitely, the greaves are supposed to go to one leg or the other. So just kind of, once again, getting a rough idea of how it's going to be put together. Okay, next up, should probably start working on the torso. So let's go ahead and get his chest piece right here and get that out. Alright, so when I get to the close-up, I'll get and show this, but a little bit of the sprue is kind of left on this guy's arm, so I'm going to leave that alone for the time being, and we'll get to it when we get to the close-up. What next? Where to? Let's go ahead and get his back right here. Might as well get that. To get a rough idea of how they are going to fit together. So far, not very well, but still got a lot of pieces to take out, so we're going to keep going. I'm going to make a quick adjustment to this camera because it's driving me crazy. So yeah, this is the first time I'm ever doing a video quite like this, so it's going to be a bit of a learning curve. Let's go ahead and get his little back unit out. Alright, so far so good. So, next up, I'm going to go ahead and get out this pauldron. And this is another one that I'm not looking forward to too much because that wolf insignia on it is one of those things that's really good, really detailed, but also kind of a pain in the ass to do because of the detail. But we'll take it a step at a time. Let's go ahead and get out Ragnar's head. Let's go with his hand next. There's a foot here by the look of it. Don't know what's going on there, but we're going to take it out. Okay, looks like that's by and large most of it. I'm going to go ahead and take out the sword. Now this is really something I'm looking forward to taking care of because this sword is beautiful. I have a soft spot for chain weapons. And I think we all know that chain weapons love soft spots themselves. So let's go ahead and keep going. So let's go with the wolf head next. So I'm gonna put the wolf stuff kind of off to the side because I'm really not sure about that. So next up is the majority of the cape. It looks as though it's a part of the cape that definitely goes to the waist because there is a gun holster here. So let's go ahead and get that out. So anyone who's been following the channel recently will have known that I recently posted a reaction video to the Space Wolves by Mr. H. And that was my first Warhammer video. And the Space Wolves always had a special place in my heart after that because I really liked how brutal they were. Let's go ahead. I recognize this from the box art. This is basically the part that goes around his neck. And I'm still looking forward to that too. Definitely going to throw in some precious metal colors there. Finally, this one little odd piece here. I have no idea what it's for yet. I think it's some kind of waist ornament, but we'll see. Alright, so our sprue is empty. I don't throw these away because there's actually another channel that I saw where they basically were teaching how to make terrain and stuff, and one of the things that they we're talking about is using the straight parts of these sprues to make basically these anti-vehicle terrain pieces. So I have a couple of those. Still working on them. Gonna be priming them and kind of experimenting with some paint colors. But so far, yeah, those we've managed to get Ragnar out of his sprue.
And here we have it, Ragnar Blackmane with all his stuff out of his sprue. So I'm really looking forward to putting this guy together. I'm going to be playing around with my camera a little bit to see whether or not I can't get a nice close-up of this mat. I'm currently taking this portion of the video on my phone because getting close-up with the actual camera that I use just makes a blurry image, and no one wants that. So I'm going to go ahead and take a bit more time to experiment. I thought I had something working, but hey, when there's complications, you just adapt and overcome, right?
Alright, so after a bit of reshuffling around, like I said, the first time I've ever done a video quite like this, so I will be kind of experimenting and refining my process if I continue doing these videos, which I definitely intend to do a video like this for, at the very least, the Thraka model in that box, because, oh, orc player, I've said it before, and I love the orcs. Love the orcs. The orc boys, they're my boys. And their boss needs the fanfare. But, all that out of the way, let's get back into this. So, I'm basically going to be kind of alternating between the video camera that I usually use and my phone camera in order to have an actual conversation. I might do like a picture-in-picture kind of thing going, and if that's the case, then awesome. If not, I can work with it. I can make the edits as necessary. So, Ragnar here, and the focus is a little tricky, but there's a little bit of the sprue still stuck there, so let's go ahead and take care of that. Get a good angle on that. So, now that I've gotten his pieces all out and ready, I will be most assuredly refining the cuts to make sure that any of those sprue bits that I got left, like there's a little bit right there that definitely does not belong there. I'm not talking about the fang, I'm talking about this little bit here. So let's go ahead and clip that away. So I am really, even though I'm not actually a Space Marine player, I am really looking forward to putting this guy together. So I think I'll go with my not even necessarily my tried and true, but maybe a modification of it. I usually try and work from like the feet up whenever possible. But in this case, I think I'll go with his legs and try and get those together first. Give me something to actually hold on to, because as it stands like that, it's a lot bigger and easier to grab. So let's go ahead and fetch out my glue and take a quick look at how these two pieces come together so I can figure out a good place to put some glue. So yeah, I'm going to put some glue. I'm going to be using my drill to kind of explain it. I'm going to put my glue like right around here. Should be nice and out of the way. Little dollop there. And I use a gel kind of super glue, since it gives me, it doesn't run really. It gives me a lot more control than the purely liquid glue. Liquid glue, if it runs, it might end up actually kind of messing up the model depending on how detailed it is. I actually used to have a super glue from the army painter, and that stuff, let me tell you, when that stuff hit, it dried super fast, and it was amazing how it did that. A pair of sweatpants actually accidentally got a drop of the super glue on them, and that was almost over a half year ago, I think. And no matter what, that little bit of super glue will never come out, not unless I cut that piece of fabric out. So, super glue is pretty much good at holding this guy together now. So I'm going to go ahead and put his greaves on now. Put these little shin guards of his. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put the glue kind of on the outside of this little groove here. That way it kind of actually comes into contact with other plastic and really forms a nice secure bond. Yeah. Whenever I'm putting super glue on these models, I'm always thinking, where can I put the glue that will have the greatest effect but not be visible. Because if it's visible, it's kind of ruining the effect. And, good. Alright. So far, so good. Let's get these other greed. And, I'll include actual, maybe a close-up, but when I get back to the sprue, this one has... I can't tell if this is a leaf or some kind of sword. I think it might be a leaf, but that kind of thing is going to be small and detailed. And these runes, I can just tell they're going to give me a pain in the ass. But let's go ahead and put some more glue here and get this guy's greave in place. So, while this is drying, I was actually looking through some Warhammer videos because even though I have the time to actually do things, at the end of the day, sometimes I just want to rest. But one thing that I was watching was how Space Marines are one of the armies that's really suggested for new players, and I wholeheartedly agree. And I realized, and I didn't get to even finish the video, I had to go and do other stuff, but I realized that one of the things that makes Space Marines so good for first-time Warhammer fans is pieces like this. The Space Marine, by and large, is a big canvas. There's not too much detail. And any decals that you want, you can put on after you get your paint. So the Space Marines are like a really forgiving unit when it comes to painting. You can really paint them however you want, make you up your own chapter, and there's not going to be too much in the way of problem if you make a mistake. There's usually so much blank canvas, so much large, smooth areas that you can just throw some paint on there. So I would imagine that painting Space Marines generally is like really fast. Orcs, I found out the hard way that orcs are detailed. I mean, just look at the Pain Boy. So, after getting enough of him together, I realized how these two pieces, this rubble piece and this piece of his legs thus far, come together. So I'm going to go ahead and get those two glued up there. I'm going to put a little glue like right here on the inside of the shoe area. A little excess there, but I'm just going to scrape it off with another piece that's going to be in contact with the plastic. Let's go ahead and keep that under nice, sufficient pressure, so it secures nice and tight. But yeah, these runes on his greaves and other parts of his armor and weaponry, I can just tell they're going to be a pain, but I'm hoping that some contrast paint will definitely help expedite the process there. And if not, I'll figure something out. So, as I'm putting him together, I mean, this guy can already start to stand. I mean, look at that. That is amazing. I freaking love that. And while we're down here, let's go ahead and get this foot on that leg. So a little bit of glue. But yeah, so basically his lower half is pretty much done. Ragnar Blackmane is approaching completion, at least in the assembly portion of it. And I think I can actually see where this little piece with a wolf tail goes now. Yeah, there it is. It's supposed to go like right there on the back. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that while I'm down here. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of glue on the top here. That way it comes into contact with other plastic. And it doesn't need to have too much pressure to keep it there. So yeah, his lower half has been assembled. It's almost like a fun little puzzle, really, and I really, really enjoy Warhammer minis for that reason. So, next up, I'm going to go ahead and start putting together his upper body. So let's go ahead and get onto that. I got the front of his chest and I got his back. Looking at how those two go together. Yeah, got it. So, you guys didn't see it, but I actually got to show Reaper during my time with him. There was a video where I think the YouTuber's name is Luton. I might be mispronouncing that, but he was talking about how the Space Marines augmentations, and that video I showed Reaper, and Reaper was familiar with Master Chief and to a certain extent the kind of augmentations that the Spartan 2s went through. He was blown away by the sheer amount of nonsense that Astartes aspirants have to go through. And it was beautiful to watch. So, I'm trying to figure out some of this other stuff. Okay. So, his upper body is largely ready. Just going to kind of get an idea of its fit. Okay. Yeah, I see it now. So while I'm up here, I'm going to go ahead and take his little hand and get that connected. Yeah. I love showing off my my Warhammer minis, especially my Orc Pain Boy, because you guys have seen that guy's detail. It is ridiculous. And it is so fun showing that off because people who are just looking at that and look at the size of it, and they realize that that is ridiculous. It is ridiculously small for how detailed it has to be. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and put Ragnar's head in. Get some glue on his head stump. So it's probably not going to be super clean, but I think one of the things that's been said is if your brush can't reach it, they can't see it. And his neck not really connecting super flush, that's going to be a super small detail, and by the time that anyone looks closely enough, the paint and primer is already going to be covering that up and making it clear that it's not too much of an issue. So I'm seeing this little peg on his lower half and how it fits into his upper half. Just getting a rough idea about that. Yep. Very dramatic pose, I will say. Very dramatic. So I'll leave the pauldron alone for the time being. Because this backpack unit, that's still getting me. But while I'm here, let's go ahead and get his sword attached. Alright, now that's all done. Let's connect his two halves. I'm actually really looking forward to painting this guy. I'm not looking forward to some of the small detail work, but I am looking forward to painting him because look at that. Couple minutes of work, bit of glue, and he is already standing on his own. It is beautiful. It really is. So, next up, and I hope this isn't going to come back to bite me in the ass. Ah, I see now. So I've been seeing this hole in the back of the backpack unit, and I've been wondering where it goes. I now see the peg that's supposed to fit into it. So I might just go ahead and glue those two together right now. Or not, yeah. I'm going to leave that alone for the time being. I'm going to glue the furry bits on. Yeah. So each time I'm kind of putting it together like that, I'm figuring out where best to put the glue in order to make it so that it has a nice secure grip. Some nice plastic on plastic security. So yeah, I love this guy's pose. It's so dramatic. What the? Okay. Let's put a little bit up here then. But yeah, that sometimes happens. Sometimes you pick a point to put some glue on, and it's not as good as a place as you initially thought. So one thing that I am kind of looking forward to when it comes to Ghazghkull is the basing for him. I think I'm going to start really stepping up my game when it comes to basing, because Ghazghkull, he deserves it. So now this guy is so back heavy, he can't even stand up on his own. So let's go ahead and get his other little furry accoutrement on. So how do we get all of this on you? Damn it. Okay. This cape is not wanting to stay on. Third time's the charm. But yeah. I can definitely see the pauldron here needs to go like such. Just trying to find the... This gun holster area has a peg, but I'm not too sure where the hole is. Is that it there? I think that is. Yep. So, it's a little tricky to see, but the gun holster is supposed to go right here under his left arm. Give you a little wiggle. You're still holding on good. You're about to have a bit more reinforcement. So I'm going to put this gun holster on next. So let me take another look. This one is especially tricky. It does not want to get on there. Okay. That works. That works beautifully. Okay. So, I'm going to first put a bit of glue right here on the edge where the cape will meet cape, and then put a nice fat dollop right here on this peg. There we go. This is like one of those weird puzzle pieces that does not want to, that wants to be very awkward in its shape. So I'm going to lay you on your side. Let gravity kind of do some of the work for me. Alright, so far, I now have this one piece that's definitely going to go around his neck. This pauldron that goes on his left shoulder. This pauldron that goes on his right. And his backpack unit. I'm going to give it a little bit of time to dry. Should be nice and secure now. This guy is very back heavy. But I have a few extra bases that I can work with him. I'll have to kind of shave down this extra bit of sprue here. Might as well do that while I'm here. That might help a little bit. Yeah, it's a lot more stable now. Okay, so next up, where to? I think I'll go with... Let me see about this throat bit. Yeah, I think I'll go with this throat piece next. Because I can clearly see an area where it is supposed to secure this little odd geometric piece here. So let me take another look. Make sure I have an understanding of where the glue needs to be. Got it. Alright. Yeah, this guy, he's looking good. He is looking good. I honestly cannot wait to get this guy painted up. I can't wait for him to be finished being assembled. I think I'll go with his backpack unit next. Give a... Yeah, that chest piece is nice and secure now. Don't need to worry about that. Get some glue on this peg. Right there on, maybe actually in this hole. That should do the trick. Okay, second thought. That backpack unit will get in the way of the pauldron. So let's go ahead and get the wolf head, the furry pauldron on. Fur is definitely going to have some divide areas, but that's fine. So I was going to save this one with the Space Wolf icon for last, because I figured that it would be like the crowning bit, the final touch to complete a Space Wolf. But that did not pan out. So let's go ahead and get this backpack unit on. Okay. And there we have it. One Ragnar Blackmane assembled. So in this video I'm also going to prime him, but that will come after about, I'm going to give it like 30 minutes for it to dry, but that also gives me enough time to go get something to eat, because I am getting kind of hungry right now. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it here for now, and then once I get back and I have something in my gut, I can go ahead and get him primed. Off to the waiting game then.